Hey, how's it going, guys and gals? So today in Wag's garage, we're gonna be going over some little rig that I came up with, try to get the alignment and everything square on my Polaris Turbo R 2022. Yeah, I think it'll work. Let's see what we're working with here. All right. So, you want to make all these adjustments as far as your toe in, toe out, both front and rear, everything, right? With it sitting on the weight of the vehicle. I just happen to have these wheel dollies laying around. And so currently working, just get all four down onto that. That way it makes it easy to get to all your connection points and to be able to adjust your toe and all that stuff. So with that, this is what I rigged up here on the front. So it's a simple piece of angle iron, right? You grab two lugs there, and that allows me, and then I had to put a couple washers behind it. I don't know if you can see those right there. What that does is that's going to keep this off the caliper, right? You can see I'm free. I'm tight to the hub. And so, yeah, I made one for each side. I got the machine down on its weight, or, what have you, on the suspension. Something also, when I'm going to be taking my measurements, I'll throw a level on this thing, left to right, right? Make sure that it's level this way. That way I'm taking good, true measurements. Currently, my plan is to do what I got going on here. You can see my string comes all the way back to this hub, right? And then from there, I can take that string, pull it clear tight up to the front, line it up with the hub here, and you can see I just still have a tiny bit of toe in. So I think what my goal is, the way I'm going to tackle this is make sure the steering wheel is as straight as can be, right? I'm going to set the front end at 0, toe in or out, so it'll be true straight. And then from that point, with a conjunction of the string, get both sides perfect. And then I think I'm going to set it at everything I read online says either 0 or 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. So I might shoot for that 1/4 inch range. And then I'm going to do the same thing here in the rear, and I'll come back and grab you guys. All right, so I got everything here on the front end set up. I got my camber, and I got my toe. My toe set at it's right at about 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just gonna run with that. Toe in, 5/8 of an inch toe in. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna zip these off, put them on the rear. Do the same process on the rear, and I'll pull the string line backwards, and we'll go from there. And I'll do essentially the same thing that I did with the front, with the rear. All right. So you can see now I'm basically just reversing that process. All right. Took everything off the front, running it back here to the rear. Now, you can obviously tell this is quite bad. Look at this. There's things towed in like 1.5 inches on each side. Crazy. So we'll get to working on that. What I did find out on the front, so I thought I had everything perfect on the front. And what had happened was the camber on this side, it was cambered out at the top. And I'm kind of going, I was shooting for a true up and down. Well, to change that on these specific arms, I'll go into more detail on these arms. They're L&W fab. I don't think I'm happy with them, but that'll be a later date. Anyways, so basically how this was set up, this top ball joint had these two thick washers on the outside and the two thin ones in, right? So to pull this in, to change this camber, I essentially swapped these. So I put the thin ones out here, pulling the ball joint over, and yeah, and then retorqued that, and got this to where it's straight up and down. And I did the same thing over here. Got the wheel to where it's straight up and down. Problem was, after I did that on this side, it threw the toe and everything way out of whack. So I had to go back through, check it, get my toe right. Yeah, you can legit see how bad the rear is. So this is a new setup on this rig, so I'm trying to get it all into adjustment. And like I said, we'll see how it goes. I'll do a video at a later date once I kind of get everything adjusted, once I get some time on it, and I'll let you know. Yeah, so I think first thing I'm going to do here on the rear is start with camber. The camber, seeing as though on the front, when I did the camber, it changed, you know, the toe and yeah. So I'm going to start with the camber on the rear. So I wish I would have actually done a video walk around before with the tires just sitting on the suspension. You can see absolutely how crooked everything was. So I did that same process here, pulling the string off that front wheel, right, all the way back. I set these as true to zero toe. I'm going to try that out. I know before I used to try a little bit of toe in. Something I was doing here to check the camber, because the camber was so bad on the rear, and those were adjusted with these, right? The adjustable radius rods on top. Bottoms aren't adjustable, but the tops are. That, right? So what I would do, take my piece of angle here, make sure that it was level this way, right? So make sure it's level that way. So I bring it up like, yay, right about in there, right? Okay. Then I come back around over here. I'm gonna see if I can't get this, but pin this level as square and perpendicular to the angle iron there. You can see where it finds its happy spot, and you see that bubble right there. Boom, dead in the middle. I got both sides like that. Actually, I really hope this adjustment method works really well. I guess I really won't know until I get everything tight, and then wheels and tires back on it, and I'll do one last deal with it tight with these L&W rear arms. They call it a toe link delete, but it really isn't. All it does is it changes it to a doohickey that's this long, instead of that rod that comes all the way up inside and connects, you know, right up in there. We'll see how this works. I wish they would have used like a smaller thread, we'll call it, smaller pitch thread on these, because they're so, the thread pitch is so big that you turn this in a 1/16 of an inch or something, and bam, you know, it yeah, changes your toe drastically if you just barely turn this. So if they would have used a finer thread inside this linkage system here, it would have been a lot easier. But yeah, I'll tighten all this up, get her back where she needs to be, and then I'll get tires on it. I'll do another walk around, and we'll go. All right, so I got her all back together. Tires on, everything on. Looks like a monster truck, but it's got all new Schmitty racing springs and everything on it. So some stuff's gonna have to, springs are gonna have to break in a little bit. But yeah, all in all, hopefully the suspension settles down a little bit. She's sitting a lot taller than what I would like. I mean, it does have 35s on it, but if you look now how straight and true these back tires are, much better. Well, I hope you guys learned something. It's going to be another part of the Wags Garage, and I plan on doing a bunch more content. We're going to be heading to Sand Hollow in Utah. It's outside of the town of Hurricane, and we're going to put this thing to the test out there. Hopefully get some good content for you guys while we're out there. Thanks again for watching.